welcome to our very first episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Married Woman. It kind of sounds scary, doesn't it? But really, I want us to talk about so many things. We're going to start today's topic with a quote. Never marry the one you can live with. Marry the one you cannot live without. The first time I read it, I said, oh, this is so cute. But then I had to think about it some more. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you don't want to live with somebody that you get along with and everything is good and you have similar likes and dislikes and, but you want to marry somebody that it's like, if they're not there, you're going to die. I have heartburn with that. I don't know about you, but I had heartburn with that second part because I need peace in my life, okay? I am not trying to be so hung up on somebody that without them, I don't feel like I am me. It is very important in your marriage to have that individualism. You cannot, from my perspective, you cannot live in a way where when the other person is not there, you just can't live. Whether it's a financial dependency or an emotional dependency or a mental dependency or whatever it is. As an individual, you have to learn to be self-sufficient. You have to learn to manage your own life, because if you can't do that for yourself, you can't help somebody with theirs. And if your partner can't do that for themselves, what do you have in the relationship? You know what I mean? You have to both have strengths, but as human beings, you will have weaknesses as well, and you can rely on each other. So it is very important for us to remember. Some of these quotes are really wonderful and very romantic, but you have to truly think through it. I, for one, want to make sure financially I'm independent. My husband adds, to my financial independence or financial gain, but without him, I should still be able to carry the load, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So it is really nice and romantic to say, don't marry somebody that you should only marry somebody you can't live without. But in reality, when you're not talking about, Disney and romance and things like that, and you're talking about reality, that doesn't jive from my perspective. What do you think? Like, do you really feel like right now, especially if you are married, you can't live without your husband, or you would virtually die without them, or your wife? Do you have that feeling? Is that how you feel right now? And I want to understand it, of course. If that is how you feel, I want to understand it. Maybe I feel like I'm missing something in that quote. Unless they were just trying to be romantic, but realistically, I can't see myself like that. But that's possibly because of my past and what I have seen. I have lived through and studied several marriages and looked at the ones that, one person was dependent on another, where I've also looked at where there was some sort of a balance, between the two married couples and different kinds of situations. And I've learned from it that it is very, very important to make sure that you are both responsible for one another, and it is not heavily on one side as opposed to the other side. You know what I mean? I really want to know what you guys think about it. I've also noticed that there are things that people don't realize before they get married, that they don't talk about before they get married. And, looking at these beautiful romantic quotes, I can't live without you kind of thing. Remember, inevitably, as a human being, we will fail at some point. So if there is a dependence, a 100% dependence on us, and we fail, it's almost like we've set the other person up as well for failure. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure, from my perspective again, and I have just my perspective, that we are very, very cognizant when we're choosing our partners, that we're not choosing somebody who, if they choose to leave us for whatever reason, or life happens and they're not able to do what we were attracted to them for, that we will still be okay. because your mental, physical, and emotional health depends on you and nobody else. Does that make sense? That's how I see it. I want to know what you guys think though. So I'm going to put the quote there again. And let me know how you guys are dissecting, how you're understanding it. Maybe I misunderstood, which happens. I'm not the brightest. However, I want to just make sure if I'm misunderstanding it that I actually get truly what it is saying, because we're all here to learn. We're not here to judge one another. We're all here to learn. And from my perspective, from where I sit, I would rather not be that dependent on another human being. So that is all I have to say for this very first episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Married Woman. Again, give me your comments down below. Send me an email at ucwithamarriedwoman@gmail.com. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about that quote? And do you live by it? Do you agree with it? Do you see people, other married couples that live by it where they can't do without one another? Okay, until next time, remember that to have a great marriage depends on you as an individual, not pointing to your partner and picking out all the things you're doing wrong, but you making yourself as wonderful a human being as you possibly can be. And that takes respect for yourself and your spouse and kindness to yourself and your spouse. I will see you in the very next episode.